ran into some of the craziest lawsuits in 2012. I got Pasha on from Top Floor Legal too. Pasha, welcome to the program, man.
How you doing, Chris?
Hey, ran across these the 10 craziest lawsuits 2012. Intoxicated Florida driver pleading guilty to manslaughter, but then suing the victim that he killed. A woman in Michigan filed a $5 million lawsuit for the leftover gas still in her repoed car. Now, I know gas is expensive, but $5 million seems excessive. Little leaguer sued by a spectator who got hit by a baseball. An inmate went to jail with 5 teeth, suing the prison for dental problems. Anheuser-Busch sued because their long neck bottle was used as a weapon in a bar fight. A fan in the NFL sued the Cowboys because the bench was too hot. Let's see. Restaurateur in California sued for Disabilities Act violations in a parking lot he didn't own. Man in Colorado won $7 million because of the microwave popcorn fumes. I think you and I even talked about that one, Pasha.
Yeah.
$1.7 billion lawsuit for wireless parking meters causing health problems in Santa Monica. And then finally, Bay Area parents sue a school after the son was kicked out of honors class for cheating. So some egregious lawsuits, to say the least, that we saw in 2012. But now, going into 2013, I saw California's got just a buttload of new laws that are hitting the books. What is it, 750 new laws or something that are hitting the books now in California starting yesterday?
Yeah, we go through this every year. Us lawyers have to review and figure out how we need to change things up. And a lot of times they're minor changes. But really quick, on those craziest lawsuits of 2012,
yeah,
it's a good example of, and we've talked about this before, anyone can sue for whatever reason, and most lawsuits you can actually prevent, but the ones that you can't, that's what insurance is for and things like that. And it's not uncommon to hear these lawsuits every single year. We hear about them.
The goofy-ass lawsuits. And what do they do? They just go down to the courthouse and they file it themselves? Because no lawyer is going to take a lot of this. I mean, no lawyer is going to sue $5 million for the gas left in a tank.
Maybe, but I don't know. I know a lot of lawyers out there that...
Are they? Can you spot them when you're in law school? Can you spot the guys that you know are going to be kind of those ambulance-chasing guys looking for every little angle they can get?
Absolutely. I mean, look, not to be too offensive to other lawyers out there, but I think the good ones don't like hanging out with them. They just tend to hate their job, hate their life, and they tend to carry it to their job as well.
And they kind of give a bad reputation to all lawyers in general.
Yeah, but that's with every profession. I think has the bad apple.
Wife got a really strange email at work because, and help me out on this because I know you specialize in the business law stuff.
Sure.
So help me out on this. The wife got an email at work, and it talked about how they are not allowed to request passwords for social media. But then they also warned all the employees that the policy is they're not supposed to be using social media at work, and that they monitor all the keystrokes anyway. So while they can't require them to give their passwords over, they can still get the passwords. Is that? I know that the new law says that they can't ask for a password, but is it okay for a company to still kind of sneakily get your password using keystroke software if you're doing something at work you're not supposed to be?
Well, I'm impressed, Chris. That's a pretty delicate question, and it kind of goes to where the borderline is with this new law and where the haziness is. Because before this law was passed, you can't monitor or actually look into private activity. And so when you are monitoring internet activity, for example, you just have a policy, okay, only commercial use because we're monitoring this, don't use it for personal reasons.
Right.
So now when it comes to this added law with not being allowed to ask for their username and password for social media, I don't know why you'd want to do that in the first place, but employers tend to want to spy on their employees.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Yeah.
But the same laws apply. I mean, even though this seems to change it a little bit, if your employer is monitoring it, I don't think that's going to change much as far as a policy. If you set the policy, hey, you can only use this for commercial purposes or for work purposes, you still may get away with that.
All right. So, by the way, AskPasha.com is where you go if you've got business legal questions. And I ran across a few more here, too, because we've got some of their new stuff coming out. One of them that I saw was catching a bunch of headlines was the religious garb law. California employers may not shunt Sikh or Muslim employees to work areas out of public view for wearing clothes or hairstyles such as turbans, hijabs, or beards because of their religious beliefs. And I'm fine with it. I think that's great. Okay, good. You can't discriminate against somebody because they've got a beard because that's their religion. No problem with that. But why did they single out the Sikh and Muslim religions instead of others? I mean, aren't there Hasidic Jews that have beards that can't shave them too? Are they not protected now?
Well, yeah, a couple things. First, I think the reason why the media is kind of focusing on that is because this particular bill was sponsored by the Sikh Coalition, among other. They actually, I think, drafted or helped draft the original bill.
Okay.
So that's why that's focusing on it. But it definitely doesn't single out just any one particular religion. I think this accommodates all. And one thing to note, this isn't necessarily a dramatic change in the law. It's more of a clarification as to what are some of the court cases that have been passed this past couple of years to clarify that it's not only religious belief but also observance as well, whether it's any headwear or facial hair.
What about those jobs where OSHA requires that you not have facial hair, but now you've got a religion that says I can't? For instance, I got buddies that are firefighters, and they're not allowed to have beards because when they wear their mask to go to the fight, they can't get a good seal. So OSHA says you can't have a beard, but then the law says, no, you can't keep me out of view because I have a beard.
So again, the law doesn't change that aspect of things. We're talking about reasonable accommodations. So there's a whole list of things of what's reasonable and not reasonable, but some of those things include if it creates an undue hardship for the for the employer, or if it's against some other law, some kind of other civil rights law. So there's always exceptions to that. This isn't a catch-all.
And so often we see that one law can be tested with another law, and of course that's why we got the courts in the first place, right?
Yeah, luckily though, this particular area is pretty well tested, so I think it's the only difference is defining what is religious belief or observance of under this act.
Gotcha. All right, AskPasha.com is where you go if you've got business legal questions, because you do business and you don't do legal, but Pasha does, and that's the cool thing with Top Floor Legal. AskPasha.com. Pasha, thanks for being on, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate the heads up on all these new laws, bud. All right, AskPasha.com where you want to go.